Fitz of Writing.
Hey there, Scribbles and Scratches. Welcome to the Fitz of Writing. We are your hosts. That's Sean Fitzgerald, and of course, I'm R.M. Johnson. Tonight, as always, for your for our creative edification and your entertainment, we bring yet another sacrifice to that most wicked altar we call the internet. This week, we have a special guest. Her name is Kimberly Huther. She is an editor with 17 plus years of professional experience and 2,500 books to her credit. How you been, Kim?
I'm doing very well. Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here.
That's good.
Thank you for coming on.
Tonight, yes. We're super excited to have you here. We're very excited to talk to someone with like your level of experience. We don't get to talk to editors very often.
Well, I'm glad that I can be here to help.
Yeah, Sean and I, when we first started talking about this, because the idea is to talk to storytellers, I was like, we should really kind of branch that out and see if we can get anyone in the industry that we can talk to, just to kind of share information and get the audience kind of more well-rounded in like what to expect and things like that, or like how to connect with these people.
Well, I guess the first one that we like to do on the show here is kind of tell us how your story begins and how you got into the whole literary editing, proofreading side of things. And let me know, because I was curious about this, have you written anything yourself?
Oh, okay. I have not written anything, since fourth grade. Since creative writing in fourth grade. My daughter, however, is an amazing writer. She's 19 and she's got a great talent for writing. But no, I started this when my daughter was 2, because that's apparently the best time to start your own business, when you have a toddler. So, right? That's why not? You got nothing else going on. So, I have a bachelor's degree in English. And I really didn't know what I wanted to do with it. I graduated college in 94 and just floated around from job to job, not really finding anywhere to land. I tried land surveying. That was definitely not for me. Just too labor intensive. I did lots of stints as receptionist and things like that. And then in 2008, I said, why am I doing all this when I can make money doing something I'm actually good at and enjoy? And so I filed a DBA with the county here in Rochester, New York, and kind of put out my shingle by making cold calls to every ad agency in the Yellow Pages. Yes, the Yellow Pages.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
And I got 6 clients from those cold calls.
That's
from my end, like I know nothing about editing or the process of the career. Is that like from your experience, is that like a standard way to become an editor, or is
I
that
don't
just
think so. No. I
you're
don't
just
think
like, I'm going to figure it out and make it happen.
Exactly. Yes. I'm like, I can do this. I'm good at it, and people need my services, darn it. So, after finding errors in magazines and looking at the masthead and like, oh, they have a proofreader. Well, that proofreader's not very good. They need me, being very full of myself. Which you really kind of have to be. You got to sell yourself. And I tell you, most of my day is comprised of following up with people and marketing myself. And it is exhausting, but it usually works out pretty well. And then when I decided to venture into Facebook land, I kind of essentially did the same thing, and what is the equivalent of a cold call, sending out a message, to, friending authors and telling them about my services. And over the last 17 years, I have dealt with probably 60 different writers and authors. Not all of them are still with me. They've moved on to either they've just stopped writing or they've gotten publishing contracts, which is wonderful for them. I'm so happy for them. It's not great for me because then,
Yeah.
they don't need me. But I just
When you
want.
initially said that, I thought they died, and I was about to be like,
Oh
"Oh, that's
no,
sad."
they're not with me. They're no longer with me. No, oh my gosh, no, no, no. Um, or we just didn't see eye to eye on things, and so they went elsewhere, kind of thing. But yeah, I started by making cold calls, and 17 years later, I have award-winning and best-selling writers in my stable, and like you said in the intro, I've got upwards of 2,500 published books to my credit, so I must be doing something right.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, that's an incredible number.
Yes.
I don't know if you care to, but are you able to drop the names of those books with the award-winning stuff or anything like that? I don't want to try to put you on the spot
No,
or
I
anything.
can do that. The Anne of Brittany series by Rosa Gaston. That's Anne of Brittany was she was twice crowned queen of France in the 14 and 1500s. Late 1400s, early 1500s, I believe. But Rosa has written an incredible series about Anne of Brittany, and that series has won awards. And I also have one of my favorite authors to work with. I love them all, but some of them have just found a place in my heart, and we've become friends.
Of
The
course.
author's name is yes, right. The author's name is Jamie Eubanks, and her book Hall of Skulls won a couple science fiction awards.
I've not heard that one.
I feel like I've heard the
It's
name
really good.
Eubanks before, though.
I'll
I've heard
send
the
you the
name, but
link.
I don't recall the name of the title. But yeah, I've heard the name.
Yep.
Um,
Yep. She's
that's
very
incredible.
talented.
I'll definitely have
Yeah.
to check it out. I wrote I'll get the title when we play this back, and I'll definitely get that book.
It's funny that you were mentioning that you went out going cold calling a lot because you actually reached out to us that exact same way, wanting to see if we had books that needed to be proofread and everything. And
That's right, I did.
And I saw your message and I was like, I'm going to flip the script on her. Like, how about if we do something for you? We're looking for, to talk to an editor, proofreader, somebody in that end of the industry and everything. And you were instantly.
I love it.
Yeah, instantly. But the cold calling, it's a numbers game. I know that, just having a sales background and whatnot. But it's great to hear that you've had a lot of success with it. When somebody responds to one of your reach outs and everything, and you make your pitch and whatnot, what's the next step if an author says that they're interested? Do you vet them, making sure that you're looking at a work that's got at least some potential, or do you limit yourself to any particular genre? How does the process kind of go?
Well, I do a sample edit of 5 to 7 pages in Word or Google Docs, and just to see if we mesh. If there's virtually no structure and the dialogue is stilted or just very I don't know, sophomoric, is that the word I'm looking for? Then I probably won't work with the person. If it's going to be a lot of rewriting on my end, trying to make sense out of sentence fragments and things like that, then I probably won't work with the that individual author, just because that's more work than honestly than I have time for.
Sure.
Usually I am juggling 4 manuscripts at a time. So actively working with 4 different authors at any one time. So I've got to do some juggling, and if I've got to rewrite and restructure and make sense of of a manuscript, then that's not going to be something I'm probably going to want to do. So,
That makes sense
and
to me.
then, right, exactly, yes, and often I will very, very gently, very kind, with a very kind, gentle tone, say, I'd like you to take some writing courses, please. Learn how to write dialogue, learn about sentence structure and things like that, and then come back to me and we'll reassess. I don't ever tell somebody they shouldn't be writing. I don't
Yeah.
ever want to squash somebody's dream. Now, they may not ever get published, but at least they will still write.
Yeah, it is a skill set.
It is.
You may not be naturally gifted. There's very few people that just kind of capture it without some form of education, whether self-taught or properly educated. Um, so yeah, it is a skill set. Anyone can write. You just kind of have to learn how to do it. It was kind of branching me into a follow-up question of like, how would you describe the role of an editor to someone who doesn't quite understand what editors actually do?
Oh boy. Well, the editing the oh boy, um, the editing and proofreading part of the journey to getting published is absolutely necessary. You cannot skimp on something like that. The editor, they just, well, the proofreader is I'm both. I do all 5 levels. I do the developmental, structural, copy, line, and proofreading. And there's um different fees involved in all that, which I won't go into. But the editor, okay, so the proofreader is tightening things up and making sure that there are no spelling, grammatical, or punctuation errors. All right, they're tightening things up. They are polishing it. And the proofreading is absolutely necessary. You cannot publish without having a professional look at it. And it's all well and good to have, your friends and your relatives look it over and just to give you feedback, but your next door neighbor who is a former English teacher is not the professional proofreader that you need. You need someone who does this for a living, someone who has the experience and the expertise and the chops to back it up. Um, and the editor just makes sure the whole thing is put together and as beautifully polished as possible before you send it off to be published.
Yeah, and I don't think you're advising like don't seek those people. Just
No, it's not what I'm saying.
treat them as a layer to the process
Yes,
and not the end of the process. Like it might be good
exactly.
for, like you said, just to kind of help an editor be a little bit more willing to work with you if you've already kind of run it through a bunch of people that you feel like have some education that can help you polish it before it gets to the editor.
Yes.
So they're
Yes.
not like, this is too much work for me.
No, right? Exactly. Yes. No, absolutely. Get your friends and your relatives' feedback and your sister who has an English degree. Absolutely. But they're just a layer. Yes, they are a layer. But they are not the editing and proofreading layer.
A good way to keep it to where you don't have to do so much work that your name belongs on the bottom of the front cover, along
There
with
you
the
go.
authors.
Yes.
I kind of get what get what we're saying.
Exactly. Yes.
Well, you mentioned something earlier about like ignoring the whole editing process, and you say you won't get published, and I'm assuming that that means like, oh, you won't get published traditionally, obviously, because there's been no polish on anything. You're getting the roughest of rough drafts, and somebody thinks, and that was a question that we wanted to ask you was like, how have you seen things get affected by certain places like Amazon, for example, where people can upload a book and it has a quality standard check, but I think if you ask me, I think it's mostly just, is any of this plagiarism? And if it's not, it's published. And I have seen some things
I have
on
too.
Amazon. So how has that kind of
I have
affected
too.
where have you noticed like a hit ever since it became really easy to self-publish? In, I don't want to necessarily say like revenue, but like workload.
I have, it's kind of gone down a little as far as my workload because, people, writers are using, artificial ways to edit.
Mm-hmm.
We'll say that. Things that are not, they don't use a human's brain. And I think that it is adversely affecting the writing community. I see a lot on Facebook in the writing groups I'm in about how that particular way of writing is taking away from the genuine the writers who are actually writing their own stuff. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Yeah. I kind of agree with you.
I'm trying not to point fingers.
You can point fingers, it's okay.
Point.
I'll point them for
Doggone
you.
it, that's stupid art.
Yeah, I do think AI has kind of like almost kneecapped a lot of people in not only like how they understand like the written language, but also like their own creativity.
Yes, because they're handing it off to AI instead of putting in the work. And honestly, I think that's going to result in fewer good reviews for their books. They won't get as many good reviews, and therefore their sales will tank, and they will wonder why. And it's because of AI and phoning it in. They're not putting in the work. They're phoning it in and expecting revenues like James Patterson or J.K. Rowling or Stephen King, and that's not going to happen.
Right. Not
yeah,
without
I think I would go so far as to say I think I've seen at least one or two books written that I feel like are just written by AI, not even so much edited, but just written whole cloth by AI.
Written, yeah. And then they wonder why they're getting bad reviews, and it's because they didn't put in the work. It's like getting a participation trophy. You just that is just not something that Gen Xers like myself are familiar with. There's no such thing as a participation trophy. Do the work and then get the trophy.
Right.
But
Earn
anyway. Yes, exactly. Earn it. I don't know if I answered your question. I feel like I went in circles. I apologize.
Right.
You said that you had noticed a little bit of a downstream in workload and everything since a lot of stuff's been automated, and then they've taken down a few roadblocks to becoming a published author that didn't used to be there. Let's say 10 years ago. I'm not exactly sure when you were first able to become self-published on Amazon, but I don't. Just even if you do self-publish, though, I still would think that the argument is made. You still need to, if you're publishing yourself, you still need to spend time making sure that your work is done appropriately and to good quality standards, and use an editor.
Yes, you still need that actual human brain of someone who can read the nuance and be like, well, you know what, this sentence doesn't really work here, let's move it down here, that kind of thing, and know how another human is going to react to your writing, if anyway. So I did, however, not answer your question about what genres I do edit, and I edit almost every genre. I do not do erotica or graphic horror, just so those are the two I won't touch.
You heard it here, folks. Keep that stuff away from Kim.
I did have a brief follow-up. Sean asked about the genres, and I was curious if you would, like, are you the type of editor that would deny working with someone because of the content, whether it be quality or just what it is the book is about, or if you're the kind that's just like, well, it's a job, it's not my job to tell you what to write or anything like that, but you need me to proofread it or edit it. But so I was curious about that.
When I started, I was taking everything, but I have I feel that I've reached the point in my career where I can choose what kind of material I'm going to work on, and I'm really just not comfortable with really spicy content anymore. So
I don't blame you.
No, and I will very politely say, I'm sorry, I don't work with this material, but here's some people who you might contact who do work with erotica. So it's just not something I choose to work with any longer. But I'm definitely not rude about it. I'm be like, oh my God, no, get this out of my face. No, I'm just like, you know what? This is just not something I'm comfortable with, but thank you so much for contacting me.
Can I ask another follow-up on that real fast?
Yeah.
Just a quick one. So do you think it's because of just like what they're writing about in general? You're just like, I'm over reading about sex or graphic death, or is it more like you feel like the way people are describing these things have become a little bit more grotesque and essentially like literary instead of like being artistic in it? Because I don't feel like people are hiding. I feel like they're saying the quiet part out loud. That's what I feel like is happening.
Okay, so I have come across books and I've been asked to edit books where there is no plot, really. It's all just sex and cuss words, and I'm just like, there is no story here. I can't work with this. What are you asking me to do? you can't edit that kind of stuff. There's nothing to proofread. So, but when it's tastefully done, if you know what I mean, man, that's a hard question, dude.
Sorry.
We ask the real ones here.
Yeah.
The real question. We get down to the nitty gritty with Kim Huther. No, I'm just closed door. I will work on books with closed door scenes. Okay, where there is something left to the imagination. It is not just hung out there for everybody to see. I will work on that. Where and they close the door, that kind of thing. Yes, I will work on that. But it's the graphic in your face stuff that I just won't touch.
All right.
I completely agree and understand.
Yeah, I wouldn't blame you. I'd be shifting if I was having to read something like that. Like, this isn't any of my business.
And I know exactly. Unfortunately, I had an example. I had a book I was hired to edit, and I had done a sample edit for this person, and she had sent me the first chapter of her book, and it was it was a really great plot. I loved it. Had great bones. I was like, oh, this is going to be so much fun to work on. And she paid me in full, and it was a hefty sum. And I got to the middle of the book, and it was. I was like, oh no, I've spent the money. Now I have to. Oh man.
Oh, that is 100% going to be the title of this video. I
Oh no, I spent the money.
Oh no, I spent the money. It's gotta be. Yeah, 100%.
Oh,
that's good.
no, I spent the money. Oh,
That's good.
Nuts. So yeah, yeah, it was not good. And my husband's like, oh no, you have to do this now. I'm like, oh, do I? And it wasn't even good. It wasn't even written well. It was bad, man. It was so badly done.
This poor anonymous
yeah.
author.
Oh, I don't
Poor
even remember the
anonymous author.
person's name, fortunately.
Ugh.
If you're listening, I'm sorry. But no, it was, oh my God, it was bad. Make it tasteful.
I once heard a writer, I think this is a great description. I don't know if it's super accurate, but I heard them describe, if you're going to write a sex scene, it's mysterious and alluring to do so from outside the window. It's creepy and gross if you're in the room.
Yes. That's good. I like that. Yep. I like that.
The windows, the blinds should be shut though.
But yeah, closed door, blinds down, lights off.
That is
Your eyes closed.
Personal
Eyes
preference of mine too. Head shaking. Fingers
You guys-
in knees.
No.
Bad.
Well, we
So that kind of brings me to one question.
I have so much to edit. Please move on.
Well, you can blurt it out. Yeah. What advice would you give to a writer when it comes to receiving or applying editorial feedback?
Okay, so proofreading is considered just a suggestion to most folks. I, however, think it's the Bible. It's it's like if I'm making these, if I have made corrections to the writing, it's because it's not out of spite or out of love of the red lines in your manuscript. It's because it needed the corrections. I don't ever do anything just to do it.
So I did want to, kind of off the back of that, I did want to talk to you about like the relationship between writer and editor. How do you generally handle situations where your editorial vision is kind of clashing with what the writer's intent is or their vision?
Well, I defer to them. I don't ever change voice. And if they're dead set on having a certain scene or have written it a certain way and they're like, no, this is important for later books. I'm like, okay, all right, I'll leave it. This is, you've hired me, so you're the one in charge.
So, I mean, I guess that also kind of blends into a little bit of, I'm curious as to like, when you're talking with a writer, like how would you kind of convey to them the importance of like understanding, like I understand like this, I'm not trying to mess with your vision here, but like what we're discussing isn't that. This isn't your style. This isn't your character's like voice. What I'm trying to help you correct is like a fundamental flaw in what we're doing and what you're trying to do.
Well, then I will very, very strongly insist, be like, this is how it should be. This is, this is a rule of grammar, or whatever. And usually they will defer to my expertise. I can't think of an instance where they flat out refused. But it has never come to blows, thankfully, because it's all over the internet. It's all electronic. No, but if they're, I make them listen to me, but I can, give examples of, well, this is why it's supposed to be this way. And if you choose not to, it's going to make you look a little less educated. Obviously it's not going to make them look dumb, but it is going to make them look like they really don't know what they're doing. And I don't want any author to look like they don't know what they're doing.
Yeah. What do you mean periods are supposed to come at the end of sentences?
No. Like I said, apostrophes don't make plurals.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's interesting because I hear a lot of people, like when they're talking about getting an editor, there's this fear that the editor's just going to like change everything. And I don't know where that comes from.
I don't either. I have spoken with people who have had very bad experiences with editors who took out huge chunks of the story that were absolutely necessary to the plot, changed all kinds of things, changed the gender of a character because they thought it sounded better. I don't know. I've heard nightmare stories. I've heard horrible stories from people. My job as an editor and proofreader is to make your writing tight and polished. It is not to put my views, my religion, my politics, or anything into your writing. It's to turn your writing into the best possible example of writing so that you can get published.
Yeah, you're on their side. I think
exactly. Yes, I'm on their side. I am rooting for them to succeed. I'm not, I don't have some devious little plan to ruin everybody's writing.
I'm actually part of the gatekeeping process.
Yeah.
You've been had.
Tell us the truth. Tell us the truth, kid. We know what you're doing.
You shall not pass.
Oh, I love it.
I'm the one with the beard here.
Yes. Yes, you are.
Yep.
John, is there anything else you wanted to add?
I think we kind of tackled everything that we wanted to really go after and find out. I did have one little question though. We talked a lot about what you won't edit, but do you have a favorite type of story or genre that you like to, query and talk to folks about? Or I guess work on.
I love fantasy. I love fantasy and sci-fi. Love them, love them, love them. I love historical fiction. So, yes.
Fantasy for the win.
Fantasy for the win.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, I love it all. But those are my favorites: fantasy, sci-fi, and historical fiction.
Well, you said you love it all, but what is the thing you most love about editing?
Oh my gosh, I get paid to read, man. I mean, it's a great gig. I've been reading since I was 4 years old, and now I make a living doing it. I mean, that's a dream. It really is.
It does sound like a wonderful thing to be into especially if you're loving to read, to be paid to do so. I love to talk, so hopefully we'll make some money from doing this show.
Well, I will talk you up as much as possible, man.
We appreciate that for sure.
I can be found on the World Wide Web.
Mayhaps you've heard of it.
Perhaps you've heard of the interwebs. No, it's
a series of tubes, isn't it?
It's yes, I think it is. Yes, something like that. And there's ether involved. I don't know. It's or maybe it's the ether. I don't know. But anyway, my website is Wordsmith. So WORDSMITH-editing.com. And you can find me there.
If you want to have Kim look your book over.
If you want to, yes.
And you want to be a bestseller.
Exactly. If you want stellar editing and proofreading services. Look me up, man.
Beautiful.
Yep, you guys heard it here. Kimberly Huther is the official editor of Fitz of Writing.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah,
That's
you like
super
that?
cool.
You can put that on your resume.
Okay, cool. I like it.
We have to talk after this.
That works for me. So,
You gotta stop offering up all these official titles to people.
Yeah. We have a very
I
tiny
just want
umbrella.
to. I want to let everyone know that we post these writing prompts every Tuesday. We call them Teletales. It's a real simple thing. I find some picture on the internet. I look at the image, I tell a story from it, and then I invite you as the audience to tell me what story you see, whether it's some narrative prose, whether it's dialogue between two characters, poetry. I don't care. I just want to see what you see. I want to hear what you see when you look at the image. So please comment your story in the comments below. And Sean and I are kind of on the outset of this exciting new segment. We're hoping it picks up some traction. It's called Dear Duncan. If you have a writing question or you feel like you're stuck in something, just kind of want a suggestion or maybe see how we might get out of that rut, please write us an email with the question. If you're willing to come onto the show and talk to us for a period of time, we'd love to have you. I don't know if we have them up yet. We might be. We should have some guidelines pinned to the top of our Facebook page, so keep an eye out for those.
Yep, and also please like, subscribe, follow the channel on Facebook or any of the social medias, any of the big ones anyway. I only have so much free time. I can't be on them all the time, but I do what I can. We will be posting a new video every Wednesday until the end of the season, which is in sometime in February, right, Ryan? I believe that's when.
Yeah, I believe so.
And but if the bigger that the channel gets, the more wide our network becomes, the more people like Kim you can talk to maybe and have a connection with an editor who can help you get your book out there if you're a writer, or give you some insight if you're wanting to start writing and what methods are the best way to go as far as like having to not spend longer than the writing process editing. And there's other folks that we've spoken to who have a lot of different experiences with everything, but if we grow that network, that's what's going to help us with new and emerging authors, hopefully someday some screenwriters and everything like that. But we need the subscriptions, we need the comments, we need the likes and the shares and all of the things. Anything else you got there? Anything you want to say before we go, Kim?
I just really enjoyed talking with you two. It has been a hoot, and you two are now in the ranks of my favorite people. It's been a lot of fun.
It only took 30 minutes. Look how great we are.
Look how easy that is. I've never met a stranger, is what my husband says. So,
well, I'm gonna edit that out. I don't want people to start saying that. I don't want people to start saying that me and Ryan should be doing interviews together all the time.
Yes, we should.
No.
So we're going to leave it in because we're big boys and we can do that.
Thanks, guys. It's been a pleasure.
Yep.
Let's fade to black.
Fade to black.